It's three things in life that's certain. Death, taxes, and 85 gonna always be open.
Go my way, 'cause I'm gonna be open. I got you.
Hello, my name's Vince, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2021 Bengals coaches this season. When you take an overall look at the fan base, many of these coaches are on the hot seat coming into the 2021 season this year. Bengals fans have dealt with the rough end of the stick the last 5 seasons, as there has been a huge culture shift and change in coaches, players, and overall direction for the organization. Today we'll be focusing on the 5 biggest coaching spots on the Bengals roster that will determine the outcome of this season this year. So after these 5 horrendous seasons of failure from the Bengals these past few years, who do the Bengals end up with at coaching spots this season? At head coach, we have Zac Taylor. Offensive coordinator reigns supreme by Brian Callahan. Lou Anarumo reigns over the defense as the defensive coordinator. Darren Simmons is our special teams coach. And Frank Pollock is welcomed back as our O-line coach. I'm going to start off by talking about Zac Taylor as our head coach this season. Zac Taylor has spent his last 2 seasons coaching the Bengals. It's safe to say that so far he hasn't had the best go of it. In 2 seasons with the Bengals, he's had a 2-14 season and a 4-11-1 season last year, with Joe Burrow, their new franchise quarterback, going out with an ACL injury similar to Carson Palmer's. With that being said, he isn't all to blame for all of this. His first season, he came into a dysfunctional organization with no real direction or plans for the future. Scramble on a few injuries to the offense and a horrible defense that couldn't tackle worth a damn, and you have a mix for a 2-14 season. His second season started out rough, but it was starting to take an upturn before Joe Burrow got hit with a devastating injury that ended his season. The rest of the team started to skyrocket, but also was decimated by injuries. Due to this, the team fell apart and went to 4-11-1. A disappointing season for Zac Taylor, but not entirely his fault. So far in the Zac Taylor era, the number one thing I've seemed to see him struggle with is consistency. I'll see him coach these incredible plays, and then the next minute I'm asking myself, what are you doing? Most notably with these performances against the Colts, where he blew a huge lead, and the Steelers, where he dominated with Ryan Finley at quarterback. I can't exactly fault him entirely though, as there has been a lot of drama the last couple of seasons surrounding the Bengals, especially this year with Carlos Dunlap and some other defenders and O-linemen leaving due to dislikes with the coaching. I can imagine with these departures and injuries to the team and the drama surrounding him, he'll have trouble drawing up plays and coming up with a consistent flow for the team. However, with that being said, there's a clear direction now in the Bengals front office and where this team needs to go, so it's up to Zac Taylor to put the pieces together this season and make sure it all works. His positive effects on the team, though, is what shines through most to me. I constantly see players talking about him and bringing him up when he's not even mentioned, and talking about how good of a coach he is and how much he helps the culture here. Overall, I think this is the healthiest roster Zac Taylor will possibly deal with this season. A completely revamped O-line and a healthy Joe Burrow now coming back. Who knows what Zac Taylor could do with this offense? I think if Zac Taylor wants to keep his job, he's going to have to lead this squad to about 8 to 9 wins this season, maybe 7 if he's lucky. Though I'm a firm believer in Zac Taylor, ever since I've heard his first motivational speech in the locker room, I've been hooked to him since. I'm a believer, and I think he'll get the job done, and I think he'll make this offense click, and this team will rise. Next up, we'll be talking about offense coordinator Brian Callahan. He was hired along with Zac Taylor 2 years ago in 2019. I can't talk about Brian Callahan as much as I can these other coaches, as Zac Taylor reigns supreme over the offense most of the time. However, that doesn't mean I can't talk about Brian Callahan entirely, as he helped scheme plays with Zac Taylor. So far in these first 2 seasons, the Bengals have ranked at the bottom of offenses in the league the last couple of seasons. However, like we said with Zac Taylor, we can't exactly blame all of this on him. Injuries have played a huge part in the Bengals' success these last few seasons, and it's impacted them greatly. Injuries to players such as AJ Green, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, offensive line units, running backs, and Joe Mixon, and of course quarterbacks have played a huge part in this, and as to why you cannot blame Brian Callahan completely for this. Like I said before about Zac, I think this offense has a clear direction now of where it wants to go, and it's completely healthy, and I think they can surprise the league next season and make this offense take the next step. I'm going to be very intrigued to see how Brian Callahan and Zac Taylor work together to utilize Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins all in one this season, and use them at their full potential. I believe fully healthy with this roster, Zac Taylor and Brian Callahan can make this one of the top offenses next season. Next up is Lou Anarumo. Lou is widely hated by Bengals fans in the city, and is called constantly to be fired. He was also hired along with Zach Taylor and Brian Callahan back in 2019, and his defense has ranked in the 20s each of those 2 seasons, coming in at 25th in 2019 and 22nd in 2020. While his go as a coordinator for the Bengals these past 2 seasons haven't been the best, I'm willing to give him another shot. I keep saying 2019 was a dysfunctional year for them, so I'll stop talking about 2019 here. 2020 is the main year I want to focus on when talking about Lou Anarumo. From what I've heard, the way he coached the defense last season was in a drill sergeant-like way, similar to Jim Turner was doing. However, as the year came to a close and was almost over, Zach Taylor straightened out Lou Anarumo, and he started coaching correctly. I think this really shows in the games against the Dolphins, Giants, and Steelers where they were all held under 20 points. Now who knows, maybe what I heard was wrong, but that doesn't change the fact that the defense started performing better towards the end of the season, excluding the Cowboys and Ravens games. And I think with new pieces added to the defense coming into the 2021 season, Lou has all of his guys in place to take this defense to the next level. Something I think people also aren't aware of is that Lou runs a zone scheme, not a man-to-man scheme like the Marvin Lewis era was. This is why I think letting go of William Jackson and getting Cheeto and Mike Hilton was a huge upgrade in leagues better than last season. Cheeto, Mike Hilton, and Trey Waynes are all zone guys. Darius Phillips has even shown he can exceed in this system. Plus, we have a new, fresh, and young D-line that could coordinate well with this system. However, none of this won't click if Lou Anarumo is who we thought he was and needs his walking papers. So with Lou on the hot seat and widely hated by most of Cincinnati, what can we expect from him in the 2021 season with this new revamped defense? Well, to be honest, it's really a coin flip. Lou could easily go back to coaching the way he once was and make this team fall apart, or he could stick with how he's been doing towards the end of the season and make this defense rise up. How it all happens is all on him. I think if Lou gets his shenanigans together, this defense can definitely be a top 20 unit around the 18th to 16th range, middle of the pack. However, all of this depends on Lou. It's up to him. We'll see how he does with his new guys in place. Next on the list, we're going to talk about Darren Simmons. Darren Simmons has been with us since 2003. That is literally when I was born. Oh, and believe me, there is very good reason for that. I won't talk long about Darren Simmons, as I have nothing but high praise for him. Each season, he seems to have one of the top special teams units in the league, and recently he's been given one of the best kick returners in the league right now in Brandon Wilson. He's been very underrated and has multiple touchdowns in the last few seasons on kick returns. I expect nothing to change with Darren Simmons at the helm still, and I think our special teams units will still be top 5 in the league next season. Don't be surprised if special teams wins the Bengals a game or two this season, especially with drafting Evan McPherson as our new kicker and replacing Randy Bullock. Plenty of new things should be coming for Cincinnati, and they should be good. Again, I have nothing bad to say about Darren Simmons, especially with Evan McPherson coming in and replacing Randy Bullock. I think the special teams is set to excel next season. Everybody should say this with me when talking about Darren Simmons. All hail Darren Simmons. He's really good. Last but certainly not least, we're going to talk about Frank Pollock. I cannot begin to comprehend how important this signing was. Welcoming back Pollock was the best decision this organization has made this offseason. Jim Turner was an absolute tool last season who should have never been hired. He benched players who didn't agree with him, and he treated it like a drill sergeant teaching. Hence why Michael Jordan even started in the first place. He was supposed to be a project player who wasn't even going to start this season, but he was the only one who listened to Jim Turner, which is why he got the starting job. What you're getting in welcoming back a coach like Pollock is someone who in 8 years of their almost 15 years coaching had an offensive line unit rank in the top 16. That is leagues better than whatever the hell last season was. One thing Frank Pollock will have with this new offensive line that he didn't have back in 2018 when he was with the Bengals is a group of young rookies and good veterans that can help shape this offensive line. In 2018, it was a lot of middle-of-the-pack guys with no real veteran leadership to lead the way other than Cordy Glenn maybe. Trey Hopkins was there as well, but mind you, he was only 25 then. Right now, Frank Pollock has 3 brand new rookies to work with in Jackson Carman, Deontay Smith, and Trey Hill, plus some good veteran presence to help teach these young guys, and you should have a recipe for success this season. I also want to make this very clear. Do not expect this line to be a brick wall next season. Even if the Bengals went all in on O-line this draft, Sewell wouldn't have fixed this line still. Offensive lines are built on communication and coaching. It doesn't matter how much talent you have on that line. If they can't work as a unit, they are not finishing in the top 10 as a unit. Currently, everyone on the projected starting lineup, all combined, have given up less than 5 sacks last season. And let's not forget, Joe Mixon had one of his best seasons in his career with Frank Pollock coaching the O-line. I am telling you right now, do not underestimate the re-signing of Frank Pollock. This is going to be huge for the Bengals this season. In Pollock, we trust. So yeah, these were my thoughts on the Bengals coaches heading into the 2021 season. This was also me basically making my first YouTube video for my channel, and it was in a way hell. Finding clips was hard, recording audio has been really hard especially, but overall, I like the finished product and I hope you do too. Just let me know if I should keep doing this. If you guys want to see more, just let me know. My Twitter is down in my description, and that's where my unfiltered side kind of really comes out. If you want to see more of that, just follow it. Other than that, I really don't have anything else left to say. So I hope you enjoyed the video once again. Have a great day. Hoo day.